Foundation's annual gala. It's happening Friday, June 7th, starting at 5:30 at Journeyman Distillery in Three Oaks. The foundation is asking for your help to raise money for an important community resource called the Maternal and Infant Health, Healthy Beginnings and Home Visiting Program. This program helps to reduce maternal mortality, improve maternal and infant health, and promote family well-being and stability. The gala itself will be a delightful culinary experience with a live auction, live entertainment, and a silent disco, plus plenty of social activity. Even if you can't make the event, you can still bid online right now in their silent auction. Items are available to look at online at chsgala2024.givesmart.com. It's the Corewell Health Southwest Michigan Foundation's annual gala, Friday, June 7th, 5:30 at Journeyman Distillery in Three Oaks. Corewell Health, helping mothers and infants move toward a stronger and healthier future in the community we all call home.
Loan rates are trending downward. Are you ready to make your move? Sturgis Bank's expert hometown lenders will guide you through the process and take the time to make sure you're ready to become a homeowner. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, looking at a vacation house, or thinking of building, Sturgis Bank can meet your needs. Experience the Sturgis Bank difference. Highly personal service, long-time community support, and a desire to do right by the people we serve. Visit SturgisBank.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is News Talk Sports 94.9. WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph. Depend on us.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden appears to be readying an executive order at the southern border that would limit the number of asylum seekers in the U.S. once crossings at ports of entry reach a certain number. ABC immigration reporter Armando Garcia.
What that number is still under deliberation, but
oh man, I tell you, so many darn buttons in here. I think so. We're talking to the folks on our video live stream now. Hi, Fred.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Good morning.
We got you on camera there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think we're good. Make sure we're good. You don't know any extra button pushers that I might bring in here, do you?
You know, it's when you look at the scheme of things, the passwords that you have to know.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Don't ever lose your phone.
Oh, I tell you. Yeah, I like that Apple has now. I got to get back to the show here in a second, but I like that Apple, and I don't know if Android does this, but they save your passwords, your personal passwords, name and passwords in the cloud. So if I set up an account on my phone, as long as it's synced with my laptop, all my passwords are in my laptop too, and so I can just go back and forth between the two. It's a lot. I don't, however, trust the password keepers, the apps that you get with that, because then all of a sudden you're giving all your apps and passwords to somebody who runs that app, right?
Yeah, I just shudder if I lose stuff.
Did you ever do the intelligence briefings when you were in Congress?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they have very secure situations there.
Well, you don't take your,
No, you don't take your device in there. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
I tell you, Fred, there are a lot of buttons here. If they were paying me by the button, This would be amazing. Ken Lundberg with the WSJM Morning Show, taking a look at some of the local news stories that we have for you today. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have moved Project T another step forward by approving a purchase agreement for the property at 960 Agard Street. Their regular meeting happened last night, and commissioners were told after Project T was broken into two separate phases due to contamination found on one of the properties, developers Harbor Habitat for Humanity and Renovair are moving forward with the purchase of 960 Agard Street and extending their purchase option for 807 Weld Street. Now, City Attorney Sarah Seneca said Weld Street is the property that has the contamination.
The city has already approved an option on this property. What this document does is it extends that option. The option right now, as you can see in paragraph D above, it only goes until September 7th. And because of some of that environmental damage that they found on the property, they're asking to extend that till next June. So it extends it to June of 2025.
This buys the developers time to remediate the contamination. Meanwhile, they can move ahead with plans for Agard Street with a purchase agreement in place. Mayor Pro Tem Dwayne Seats said after the community watched the former Mercy Hospital site fall into disrepair, it's encouraging to see a new developer move forward with plans.
This is coming from a place that we worked hard to try to get this agreement together. They're paying money and they're investing millions of dollars.
The purchase price for the 960 Agard Street is $72,500. The eventual price for the 807 Weld Street property will be $27,500. Project T will be a combination of duplexes, apartments, and retail space at the site of the former Mercy Hospital. Developers Renovair and Harbor Habitat are still securing funding for both phases of construction. Other Benton Harbor news, more recall petitions have been filed against elected officials in Benton Harbor. WSJM's Andrew Green has this report.
Recall petitions have been filed against City Commissioner Ethel Clark Griffin and Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education trustee Elnora Gavin. The Berrien County Clerk's office says the petitions filed by former City Commissioner Jerry Edwards say that Gavin should be removed from office for voting against the hiring of Title I support staff at the schools. They say Clark Griffin should be removed from office for voting against paying the city of Benton Harbor's bills multiple times. The Berrien County Election Commission will hold a hearing to examine the clarity of the recall petition language on June 17th. If the language is deemed clear enough to proceed, then the petitioner can begin gathering signatures to force a recall election. Andrew Green, WSJM News.
Set for this Friday and Saturday is the Hartford Strawberry Festival. Hartford Chamber of Commerce Vice President Stephanie Daniels tells us the event has been held since the 1980s to celebrate the area's strawberry growers. Things kick off Friday with the Kitty Parade at 5:50, followed by the crowning of the strawberry royalty, and then magician John Dudley will be at Eli Park. Daniels says they'll also have food vendors, crafts, a petting zoo, pony rides, rides by Vertical Edge, a mechanical bull, and the Hartford Fire Department Smash and Bash. We had to ask, what in the world is a Smash and Bash?
They bring up some beat-up old cars, and you can pay to smash the car with a sledgehammer. Perfect way to get rid of any anger and aggression.
Does that sound enticing to you, Fred?
I've done that. I did stop the dunk tank.
You've done the smash and bash?
Yeah, I've done that. There's not much I haven't done. I did the dunk tank once, and I remember Sheriff Nick Jewell, wonderful man. He did it once, and the water was so cold that he had a medical issue.
Oh no!
So
That doesn't sound
it takes
good.
a little while for that tank of water to warm up if you just fill it up with a hose.
If ever.
That's a tough job. But yeah, I did it once. I said not anymore. I did not wrestle the bear.
Oh my goodness!
There's the guy who traveled around. And he had Mike the Bear, I think is what it was, and
you could wrestle.
I did not do that. My staff thought it would be a good thing. I thought,
oh
no.
My goodness,
cherry pit spit was good. I did that a number of times.
You mentioned the cherry pit spit.
They don't
How
have
far
that anymore? Yeah, Eau Claire had the cherry pit spit.
How
Herb
far
Teichman,
did you? What was
I did
your
20-some feet. I think I did 22 or 20. You get the roll. People don't. It's not just in the air. You get the roll. It's sort of like
like rolling your R's in Spanish or something.
I can't do that either. But yeah.
All right. Well,
Gotta
just
curl that tongue.
Concluding on the Strawberry Festival, we're just going off the rails here. That is happening this weekend in Hartford, and Daniels says she checked with local strawberry growers, and the crop this year is just fine. So you're invited to head to Hartford this weekend for some good family fun. It is the WSJM Morning Show. We'll have sports coming up next. Also, the latest weather forecast from our friends at WSBT.
In Major League Baseball last night, Jake Rogers hit a pair of solo home runs to lead the Tigers over the Texas Rangers 2-1. The Tigers are back at the Rangers tonight at 8:05, a 7:40 pregame show on Newstalk Sports 90.
Yeah, so the Fred, we were talking what we've seen from the Michigan Extension Office and from growers themselves is the stone fruits.
Yeah.
Peaches particularly have taken a hard hit this year.
Peaches got really creamed. That freeze we had back in January just took them all out. So that was the worst one. I think apples are going to be okay, but I don't know.
Apples are supposed to be fine.
Yeah, and grapes got hit.
But that probably sweetens them up a little bit.
Yeah, but blueberries ought to be good. They're the hardiest of them all.
Yeah, blueberries are supposed to be fine as well.
Cherries might have been hurt a little bit. I don't know. Cherries are coming up right after strawberries.
Yeah, I think it depended on which set of freezes you got, the warm and the cold, because apparently up north, the conditions were actually a little better for the fruits than they were down here, which is ironic because you'd think it'd be colder up there. But anyway, what's your favorite fruit?
I like blueberries.
Do you? Okay.
I had some this morning already.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, I went to Costco, so they got a big...
Nice. Yeah, I want to talk about your grandkids. We want to continue talking about the congressional delegation. I think the one thing on
about the shoes.
Oh, we do have to talk about the shoes as well.
That's
okay.
a fun little story.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that one. And then we talk a little bit more about PGA. You read Moody's article on
I did not see it. No, I didn't see it.
All right. It's 3,900 words, so it may have gotten blocked by your internet.
Yeah, well,
browser.
Yeah, he asked me to actually respond on a questionnaire, but I it's like so many emails again.
Man. Okay, well, we'll ask you some of those questions here then.
But it was a good thing.
Okay.
I support the PGA.
We'll be right back.
Deeper inspection. Consider their major tripwire 6-pillar audit. It's an 8-hour analysis with a detailed outcome report for only $500. In business since 2001, Webstix has completed over 1,000 website projects and over 20,000 maintenance tasks for their happy customers. And now excited to be serving Southwest Michigan. Call 269-925-1123 or visit stunningsitesmoreclicks.com.
Stunning sights, more clicks, web design from Webstix.
It's time to meet the Moody on the Market Best Places to Work for 2024. Presented by the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, Silver Beach Pizza, Parrott Company, Sturgis Bank, Autobahn Imports, and the Inn at Harbor Shores, with support from the Mason Jar Cafe. I'm Zach East. Our independent judging panel, made up of past winning businesses, along with Pat Moody, have made their decision, and the 2024 winners include Harbor Country Dental, Competitive Edge, Baris & Associates, PLC, Vilwalks Outdoor Living, Mighty Dog Roofing of Benton Harbor, Van Buren Cass District Health Department, Life Action, Apotheca Teas, U.S. Tarp, Graminos Law Group, Life Vision Eye Care, The Blue Dress Barn, White Flower Cannabis Company, Barry and Risa, Flaw Insurance, Ink About It Tattooing, St. Joe Kickers Sports Club Incorporated, Thrive Psychology, Bloomingdale Communications Incorporated, and Medrano Tire Service. See the profiles of all of our winning organizations right now for the Moody on the Market Best Places to Work at moodyonthemarket.com. And congratulations!
Partly sunny, a little more humid, and even hot temperatures today. We'll see highs around 85 degrees inland. At the beaches, we'll stay right around 80, 82 degrees. There's a slight chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, but mostly as we head into tonight, we'll drop to 68. And a few scattered showers and storms, mostly cloudy, and a high of 78 on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And you're listening to the WSJM Morning Show. Ken Lund here with Fred Upton, former area congressman. And Fred, you brought up something that I feel exactly the same about. Where in the world are the cicadas?
Yeah, they tell us, this is the big year. And my brother went to Chicago last weekend, and he stayed with it was his daughter's birthday. And he showed me a picture of his car, and it was just covered with cicadas.
I've seen some of those pictures.
And they're flying around and, hitting them. And like, I've not heard one of them because, they have this racket.
Absolutely.
But I haven't
seen chittering
any.
noise.
Yeah. Yeah, none.
Yeah. And they're very prevalent in Washington, D.C. Every summer you hear the cicadas go. You know it's going to be hot outside.
This is like the peak. This is like the...
Right now we've got like 2 different broods that have emerged in our area, and it happens only once every blue moon or
140 years.
Something crazy like that. And I've seen the pictures that you're just describing where Whole driveways are covered. People are backing their cars out. Sorry if you're eating breakfast, crunching over these darn poor things.
Captain Crunch, having Captain Crunch with blueberries.
But I was kind of hoping that we'd see some of that. I guess be careful what you wish for, but be interesting.
Yeah, nothing.
You mentioned before we talk a little bit more about senior PGA and some of the things happening with members of Congress right now, you were talking about going through an airport and you discovered you have a new shoe line.
Well, yeah, it was. So actually,
your family has made washing machines, and now
I
you're
know.
making shoes.
No,
you're
But
not making shoes.
Actually, I got a catalog in the mail, and Johnston and Murphy, and I turn in on page 2. They have the Upton collection.
Oh,
and it's all these
the Upton
shoes. But the key is it's got the foam sole, so you it's like walking on tennis shoes. And as you know, in Washington anyway, the hallways are marble, and so the old shoes,
incredibly hard.
I mean, you walk, to vote, your feet get a little tired. So now they got these new shoes. People have seen them. They got a white sole on the bottom, but Johnson Murphy called them the Upton collection. So I said, I gotta go see these things. So I'm going through the airport, and I stop, and they have a little sign. So I said, I think I'm gonna have to buy a pair of those shoes. And I said, now, is there a way that I can get a family discount? They laughed. They just, answers no. And then the guy sitting next to me trying a pair on, I said, these are really good. I'd like that family discount as well. But they're great shoes.
But they have your name on them.
They have the name, and it's actually been fun. So I know the President Biden, and one of the issues is he's, now that he's 80s, like walking, and he's got
looks a little unstable.
Yeah, a little unstable. He's, so I sent his staff. I said, you need to get him the Upton collection shoes. I sent him a copy of it. Actually, I sent him a photo of
oh my goodness.
A friend of mine had some as well. So we got our 4 feet together across. And we sent him a picture, and they said, no, he's getting hocus. He's not getting them.
You mentioned that you were texting his staff, but I can just imagine you, former Congressman Fred Upton, in the White House, sitting out in the waiting room, waiting to talk to the president and talking to his staff, probably talking their ear off. Hey, you should get him these shoes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, he's dealing with Ukraine right now, but no, these shoes are really.
I mean, it's been fun.
The president, Washington, dealing with a lot of different issues on a few different fronts. But one of the things we've talked about this morning a little bit is travel. Congressional delegations, CODELs, they're called. Congressional delegations often go around the world, and part of their mission is not only to gather information about some of the programs that we're funding overseas, but also to continue to strengthen relationships with other countries. And to have a CODEL, there are some simple rules. It starts off on a bipartisan note. Maybe just walk through them real quick.
Yeah. So these are important. These are not golf trips, nor should they ever be. But it really is. And you do the same thing in D.C. You meet with visiting delegations that are coming from someplace else. So you and I were talking a little bit off the air about the new Mexican president.
Yes.
A woman for the first time. It will be refreshing. It would be exciting for members. There's a caucus that travels back and forth. I was part of the U.S.-Canadian Interparliamentary Group. There's one with Germany. There's one with Korea, Japan. There's caucuses with a lot of different countries. I was co-chair of the Danish caucus. I was on the Ukraine caucus. And you look at the world, it's not just the U.S. You have to look at the rest of the world as well. So when I chaired the Energy and Commerce Committee, I led a delegation that was bipartisan, and we went to a number of countries in Europe, all on LNG exports. And this is this is going to help with global warming because it's going to replace coal. We have a tremendous market here, and we put pressure on the administrations, Republican and Democrat, to speed up, to expedite the approvals of LNG export licenses, which is it's not only American jobs, but we can actually help the planet. They're enormously productive. And Kevin McCarthy later became Speaker. He took me in a number of committee chairs, and we did the same thing on LNG, going to different countries. I went to North Korea. And our goal was to put the six-party talks back together again: Russia, China, North and South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. to really try to get North Korea not to move forward with its nuclear program. This was back in, I want to say it was in 2002. And, read the book, Nuclear War. It's a chilling book. I just finished it. It's New York Times bestseller. A woman author, Annie, I don't remember her last name, but it's very powerful. And it just goes to show that we have to take every effort that we can to stop North Korea from doing what they're doing. I thought the meetings were productive. They weren't successful, but we tried. We tried to entice North Korea not to do some things, and we used pressure from Russia and China to try. China was part of the six-party talks as well. That was 20-some years ago. I went and visited our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq.
You think about, sorry to interrupt, Fred. The book that you mentioned was Nuclear War, A Scenario, and it's by Annie Jacobson. But you mentioned some of the hot spots. You talk about Ukraine, formerly we talk about Afghanistan, formerly at war there. Talk about North Korea, talk about China, also Israel, Taiwan. A lot of tensions and all-out war happening in these places. What do you make of what's happening right now with international relations?
The world's on fire.
And where are we?
So, on the Ukraine caucus, we met with the Poroshenko, who was the predecessor to Zelensky. But we were in Kyiv, and, we had classified briefings with our military in Poland. That's where our military shipments, arms are coming into. It was an incredible visit there as they shared with us video and everything else. You're so troubled. Yesterday I watched, it was online someplace, Russians with Ukraine POWs doing mock executions, kicking them, shooting literally bullets inches from their head as they lay on the ground. I was in Israel in 22. I saw the tunnels.
The tunnels that Hamas is using.
Yep. They had discovered a tunnel, and we went to it and walked in it. I've got pictures on my phone that I took. It took years to construct. It was done through sheer rock. It was 60, 70 feet under the ground. We wore a hard hat, a helmet, just so we wouldn't hit our head going down these steps. And they had air in it, and it was incredible what they're faced with. But that travel is important because you have a lot of key votes. You want to learn as much as you can on those visits. Even though I'm not in Congress anymore, as part of the former members of Congress, we met with the Bundestag members
Germany
last month. I guess it was in April. So, but we established relations there, and those, it's, you got to have a worldview as well, particularly with the issues that you deal with. And, that aid package for Ukraine, to me, there was nothing more important in this Congress than to get that done, to try and stop Putin's reach. And because the Germans understand it, they know that after Ukraine, it's other countries, including them. And so they're all in. And they also understood, as former President Trump has said, that they need to increase their military contributions, and they are. And that was one of the things that we did when we were there, but also some of the things that we did when I was with Steny Hoyer, then the majority leader, when we went. We were the first members of Congress to meet with their new chancellor, and we went to Denmark and other NATO countries as well. They understood, and they were increasing their percentage of GDP for defense.
In your opinion, how are we positioned as a country with all the tensions on the table? Are we well positioned? Are we doing all the things we should be doing? Should we be doing more? Should we be doing less?
I'll be interested in the news this morning. There's going to be they're going to Lucerne, Switzerland, to talk about it. I think 100 nations are participating to see what they might be able to accomplish, and maybe perhaps negotiating some type of I don't want to call it a truce, but some resolve on Ukraine with Russia. Maybe something constructive will come out of that. But you see what's happened in Syria that Assad has done. You look at what happened in Mariupol. You look what happens now in Gaza. I mean, just they say it'll be 40 years before they can recover from. You just wonder about man's humanity towards man in terms of trying to resolve this at the negotiating table rather than by bringing in the bulldozer.
How much does this change given the election?
Well, sadly, politics is part of it. Finger pointing.
I mean, does it stall between now and November, and then
the aid
maybe
package
change course?
right now, at least for Ukraine, should be sufficient through the balance of the year, and the election will decide what happens next. With Israel and Gaza, they're trying to negotiate something. I know the President Biden's put something on the table, but there's real issues in Israel as well that they have a coalition government, and I know that the hard right is threatening Netanyahu to say if you agree to this, we're off the reservation. Your coalition is dissolved, and you'll have yet another election. When I was there in 22, so it was July of 22, we met with that morning. We had breakfast with the current prime minister, who resigned at noon. We had
oh
lunch.
My goodness!
We had lunch with his successor, and then at 4 o'clock,
they did that special for you.
Yeah,
and then at 4 o'clock,
4 o'clock, we met with Netanyahu, who beat him.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
What a day in the history of
that is something else.
We were at the Knesset, so something else. But I was always an ally of voting wise for Israel, and and it was bipartisan, overwhelmingly bipartisan. Still is.
We're talking with former Congressman Fred Upton. He served the area for more than 36 years. He's continuing to serve in the former members caucus as well. It's a caucus, right?
No, it's actually an organization.
An organization.
So there's dues.
Oh, you got to pay to belong.
Yeah, I do.
Dear Lord.
I do.
Okay.
We have a Zoom board meeting. It's in Austin. I said, no, I'm not going to Austin. I'll do it on Zoom. So it's like next week or two.
The beauty of digital travel. Okay. Well, we'll come back. I want to ask you about your grandkids, but we'll have to come back and do that in a few minutes. We're talking with Congressman Fred Upton. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Loan rates are trending downward. Are you ready to make your move? Sturgis Bank's expert hometown lenders will guide you through the process and take the time to make sure you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I hope we don't paint too grim a picture of the world.
It's a pretty tough scene.
But it is a pretty tough scene.
The world's on fire. You can't sit on your hands.
I mean, Taiwan has always been very active, and it seems like China's making moves. To really put a stake in the ground and say, nope, no more.
Well, that came up actually part of the whole discussions back in 2002 when I went to North Korea.
Yeah.
It was like China is, that's, we went to China, and that's one of the things they talked about.
What was North Korea like? Describe getting into the country.
So we had our own plane. So I was asked to go, and my staff would have said no. So they didn't ask my staff. On the house floor, I got asked if I'd like to go.
Okay.
And it was in January. And it was, I said, yeah, I think I can go. So we had our own plane, an old military plane, and we flew first to Khabarovsk, Russia. And it was 30 below. I mean, this is Siberia.
Fahrenheit, 30 below.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got off the plane and the hair in your ears just, I mean, it was real. It was cold.
Yeah.
And then we flew to North Korea. So we were there like one day. We met with some members of the Duma. And then we flew to and explained our mission. They knew we were coming, but, and then we flew to North Korea. So they had MiGs outside of our plane. It was like a 707, plane that we were on.
Sure.
I think there were 8 of us. We had our own interpreter, and we had a Navy detachment. It was a Navy plane, and we landed at Pyongyang International Airport. We were the only plane that was there.
Wow.
And then we drove into the city, and we passed all these people, and it was cold. It was like, again, about zero.
Yeah.
not 30 below, but 0. And all these people, North Koreans, were going to work on their little acre of rice. And so you passed all these plots, and they have like one bale of hay or manure
Bushel,
or whatever
yeah.
for what they had to do. And then in the city, no cars. We stayed at this hotel that was completely empty except for us.
Kidding.
Every time you came out the door of your room, somebody down the hall would come out the door.
They're keeping an eye on you.
And so I'd like, oh, I forgot something. And I'd turn around and they would turn around and go back in the room too. So they're watching you. And they got cameras in the room. They're watching you. All the rooms had an extra layer of plastic for the cold.
Okay.
We saw the Pueblo. I said, there's remember the ship that was taken?
Yeah.
We had meetings for 2 days.
Couldn't get the ship back?
No, we didn't try to get the ship
Okay.
back. I
You had
said,
meetings
that's not a good idea for us. That's not a picture we want. It was trapped in the ice, but it was tethered. But we walked around. We went to a market. We went on the subway, went to the university. And it was an incredible, we'd be the only people in a restaurant. And I was about this much taller than any of the Koreans. So, we made the point that we had dinner with, we don't have a mission there or an embassy. So we had.
Hang on just 1 minute here. All right. Well, we're still pushing buttons here, trying to figure this thing out. This is the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg, alongside Fred Upton is our guest co-host today. And we're looking at a pretty warm day, actually. We're looking at going to have a warm one that has 85 degrees inland for some of the warm temperatures. Going to be humid again because of all the moisture that we've been having recently. And then tonight, there's a chance of showers and thunderstorms, the low around 68, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, it's going to be mostly cloudy, warm, and humid, a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, highs around 78, and then south winds 10 to 15. If you look at the extended forecast, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're probably going to see some cooler temperatures. The likelihood of rain diminishes just a little bit. I mean, we're seeing 20%, 30% chance of showers Thursday and Friday, and then it just diminishes for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But it's going to be nice highs in the mid to low to mid 70s, and lows overnight probably around 55 degrees by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday.
So, Ken, the basic question is, what is the temperature of Lake Michigan? Because as I was outside yesterday, goodness. I was ready to go jump in the lake, but I didn't quite make it. But what's the lake temperature? I saw there's some people swimming at Tiscornia and Silver Beach last weekend.
Okay, so the temperature in the lake
but it looked chilly.
I don't have that one pulled up. It looks like 55 degrees might be.
It's a little chilly.
It's still a little bit chilly. Yeah, the water temperature currently, 55 degrees is what it says here. I mean, the lake, when the lake turns?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we don't have the Steelhead marathon or Steelhead. That was a great thing. Mike Ryan ran that here. He ran my office as well, but Mike ran it for a number of years. It was a really wonderful thing. I mean, it was one of the best. It's either marathon or half marathon. I'm not a runner.
It's a half marathon. It's a triathlon.
But
the
one
Ironman.
time in July, I mean, the lake turned and it was like, oh my goodness, people had to wear wetsuits and it was like really chilly.
Yeah.
I think even one year they stopped the swim because it was just so cold.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that our area is not seeing, and one of those things is the Ironman triathlon, and then also the senior PGA tournament. You were a champion for that and volunteered at several of them, but we'll talk about more of that in just a moment. You're listening to the WSJM Morning Show. Going to take a look at what's happening in the local news arena right now. Some of the stories from the local news team that we have covering here. Yet another recall petition has been filed against elected officials in Benton Harbor. This time, the targets are City Commissioner Ethel Clark Griffin and Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education trustee Elnora Gavin. Berrien County Clerk's Office tells us the petitions filed by former City Commissioner Jerry Edwards say Gavin should be removed from office for voting against the hiring of Title I support staff at the school. Clark Griffin, they say, should be removed for voting against paying the city of Benton Harbor's bills multiple times. Berrien County Election Commission will hold a hearing to examine the clarity of the recall petition language on June 17th. If the language is deemed clear enough to proceed, then the petitioner can begin gathering signatures to force a recall election. Also coming up in the news that we'll talk about at 8 o'clock, 2 Benton Harbor people face multiple charges related to drug trafficking, including possession of more than 2.5 pounds of cocaine. Michigan State Police say as part of an ongoing investigation, the Southwest Enforcement Team, SWAT, searched a residence in the 800 block of Broadway Avenue in Benton Harbor. The team reportedly found the cocaine, a large quantity of pills, an unsecured and loaded firearm, and items used to manufacture and distribute cocaine. Arrested at the scene were 48-year-old David Liddell Scott and 44-year-old Tiffany Thomas, both of Benton Harbor. MSP announced the arrests yesterday, though the suspects were arrested late last week, and they've already been arraigned at the Berrien County Courthouse. SWAT thanked team members or members of the community generally for reporting suspected drug activity and encourages people to keep an eye out for and report any suspicious narcotic-related activities in Berrien County, Cass County, and in Van Buren counties. That's a look at what's happening in the local news. We'll come back and tell you what's happening in the state in a moment. Can you believe that?
No, I don't know that story. What is it?
So one of the things that the Attorney General has been going after and others is scams that quickly follow major storms. So we had the tornadoes come through, and they were on it. They knew that there were going to be people following up immediately, trying to take your money for immediate repairs and never showing up again. So I mean, we've seen it a lot. You see it every year. The roof people come by, and I mean, nefarious fellows. They make they give people who have well intentions a bad name. Anyway. But we'll get back to the show here in a moment. But some live exclusive content for those of you joining us on the live stream, the video live stream. Thank you for joining us. How many grandkids do you have, Fred?
We got 4.
You got 4?
4, and the oldest is 4.
So boys, girls?
1 boy and 3 girls.
Oh, okay.
So
close
it's fun.
Are they close in age?
Yeah. So my daughter's got 2 and my son's got 2 kids. So
okay.
It's so 4 is the oldest, Tommy. He lives in Boston. They're big. That was part of their wedding vows. My daughter's husband is huge Boston. So I think one of it was like, we're never leaving the area. So, so I was sure that their first child, boy or girl, would be named Brady, but it's Tommy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's a
Tom
great,
Brady.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Very nice.
So he's a great little boy, and so he's got a little sister who's 2, and then my son's got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. She's one next week. She's
that's
one
fun.
next week.
As a grandparent,
So
what are your responsibilities?
Well, every place I go, I'm looking for clothes. You're looking for the little shirts. You're looking for the little games.
Yeah.
That they do. I mean, it's fun to be a grandparent. It really is. And watching them grow. And it's fun with the Zooms. You know, we Zoom a couple times a week. So to see how they're doing. So I go by Papa.
Aw.
And my wife's name is Coco. So it's like, it's great. It's really fun.
That is fun. Sorry, I'm looking at something behind the scenes here. We've got that thing.
So, but all 4 will be here this summer together. So, we'll have a good time in July.
What you get them out to the water there?
We'll get him to the water. So I remember Tommy, when he first saw Lake Michigan Beach, he didn't know what sand was. So you'd carry him and he'd put him down and he would lift his legs up so he didn't have to walk on it. But we'll go blueberry picking. We'll have a ball. We'll go to the playground equipment. Lions Park. They've got some good stuff there, and it's
Yeah.
be a good grandparent.
I saw some kids down there in the splash pad the other day. They weren't getting into it because it was one of those days when it was still too cold.
Yeah, the splash pad is open. So he was scared of it last year. It
Really?
may still be. He's small.
Oh, man.
He may be still too big for him this year, but we'll see.
That's fun.
I think they have a smaller one in Lakeshore, right? I think they've got one in Stevensville now.
There's one right outside the Lincoln Township buildings.
Yeah,
That's a fun little one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I think that's where we're.
Yeah, it's cute because it has the button where the kids can run over and push it, and it starts the water going, and then they run. Yeah, so no, I took my mom there for her 79th birthday the other day, and we just sat there and watched the kids, and she was concerned they were going to get too wet. And it's like, Mom, it's a splash pad. That's what they're supposed to do. No, it's good. Let's see here. How are we doing on time, Fred? You keeping me on track here?
Yeah, 20 to 8. You're doing
You're
good.
supposed to make me watch the time here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Okay. All right. So thank you for joining the video live stream. We will be right back. I got to do a couple of housekeeping things behind the scenes here. So just a moment.
Just for today's games, check out this station's website. With your morning sports for Tuesday, June 4th, I'm Dave Wolf.
Big deals.
Hi, Jenny here from your local Big Deal store. Have you checked this place out yet? We've got gift certificates from dozens of local businesses, all sale priced. I'm talking restaurants, entertainment, car care, and items for your home. And you can shop 24 hours a day from the convenience of your home or from your smartphone. Big Deals. We're kind of a big deal.
Don't wait. Go to BigDealSouthwestMichigan.com today. We're just days away from the Corewell Health Southwest Michigan Foundation's annual gala. It's happening Friday, June 7th, starting at 5:30 at Journeyman Distillery in Three Oaks. The foundation is asking for your help to raise money for an important community resource called the Maternal and Infant Health Healthy Beginnings and Home Visiting Program. This program helps to reduce maternal mortality, improve maternal and infant health, and promote family well-being and stability. The gala itself will be a delightful culinary experience with a live auction, live entertainment, and a silent disco, plus plenty of social activity. Even if you can't make the event, you can still bid online right now in their silent auction. Items are available to look at online at chsgala2024.givesmart.com. It's the Corewell Health Southwest Michigan Foundation's annual gala, Friday, June 7th, 5:30 at Journeyman Distillery in Three Oaks. Corewell Health, helping mothers and infants move toward a stronger and healthier future in the community we all call home. Hey, class of 2024, what plans do you have for this next fall? Taking on a bunch of student debt? Going into entry-level minimum wage jobs? Well, there's a better future for you at Lake Michigan College with the Red Hawk Futures Scholarship. Get a specialized certificate or a 2-year degree without paying any tuition. It's easy. Just graduate from a high school in Lake Michigan College's district in the spring of 2024 and enroll for fall 2024. Visit lakemichigancollege.edu/futures. Lake Michigan College. They connect you to your Red Hawk future.
Partly sunny, a little more humid, and even hot temperatures today. We'll see highs around 85 degrees inland. At the beaches, we'll stay right around 80, 82 degrees. There's a slight chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, but mostly as we head into tonight, we'll drop to 68. And a few scattered showers and storms, mostly cloudy, and a high of 78 on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And one of our friends in the studio this morning is none other than former area Congressman Fred Upton. Fred, we were talking earlier this morning about PGA, and you got the form for the story from Pat Moody, but you had too many emails to deal with that day.
I looked for it, but then it got...
That's all right.
It disappeared.
That's okay. So basically, in order to write the story, if you've not read it yet, please check it out. It's at moodyonthemarket.com. We'll have our Moody on the Market update in just a few minutes. But what we did is we created a form with 4 questions, and the 4 questions were thus: Thinking back to your first involvement with the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, what did you hope the event would mean for the community in the region? Second question, how much of its intended purpose did it achieve? Number 3, what is your most memorable moment of the KitchenAid Senior PGA? And then fourth, following the departure of the tournament, the championship rather, where should community leaders now focus their efforts? And so you think about those questions and you think about what the PGA Championship has meant for the area and some, what it's brought since its inception. What are your thoughts?
Well, a couple things. It was pointed out that we've had the longest run of the Senior PGA than any other community in the country.
Wow.
That's pretty terrific.
Yeah.
And I'm not a golfer. I want to get there someday.
Keep trying, Fred.
I'm in witness protection. We talked about this earlier.
The divot companies love
at
you.
6 a.m. Yeah, I'm getting the golf. They know that I'm into buying golf balls right now. I bought some at Costco yesterday, knowing that I was going to lose them, and
goodness.
I did. So we longest run, which is terrific. And we're going to miss it for sure. I'm hoping that that there's been some discussion about maybe having some type of LPGA here, which would be great. You look at Caitlin Clark, you look at the growth of women athletics really since Title IX back in the 70s. My wife was on her college Hall of Fame. She was in Sports Illustrated Faces in the crowd. You see, the women's basketball outdrew the men's. I mean, for good reason. But so that would be really enticing. My disappointment was I was on the leaderboard for 4 days. It got a little soaked. Found a big tree when it was really raining.
Oh, man.
Across the
That's
Paw Paw
dangerous in a
River.
lightning storm.
Well, we had to get off the platform because it was steel.
Right.
So it was like, but the rain really impacted, I think, the crowd.
Yeah.
You didn't really, at least from my vantage point, you didn't see a big following of folks until the last day. And really it wasn't until the very end that you saw. And I can remember the old days of when the Western Am was played at the Point, back in the 70s, we hosted golfers at our house and, everybody did. Actually, Chris DeMarco, quite a remarkable guy. I think he finished third in the Senior PGA. He won the Western Am back, back in 98 or something like that. And I think he stayed with the same family that he did
as when
then.
he won.
Yeah,
when he won.
No, and he hadn't played the course since then.
Wow.
But it really it's an amazing sport. You look at the Masters and you look at the following by on the media, the ratings are really good, but the weather really hurt us. Memorial Day is just a little bit early, maybe for a Michigan golf thing, and so that hurt us. But 1,000 volunteers. I mean, it was a great volunteer effort. The people that worked so hard, Pam Glenn, she did a wonderful job masterminding the whole thing. The course is in terrific shape. Those greens, and it was fun as a volunteer. We got to go. A highlight was on Wednesday. We got to go and watch the players on the range.
Yeah,
and I got a few tips, and it helped. I'm not.
What was the number one tip that changed your game?
You saw Vijay Singh and some of the others. I mean, he hit the ball from where the range start is.
Yeah,
almost over the fence that goes over. I don't know what that street is, but it's the one where Modern Plastics and New Products.
Yeah.
He almost hit it over that fence.
You're
I mean, it was
kidding.
just incredible.
That's a heck of a drive.
Shot after shot, and you watch some of the players on the putting green, and boop, everyone went in. Or they put a little tee on the thing, and everyone hit the tee. It was really just remarkable skills of folks, and they were all so friendly. It was really a wonderful thing if you could be involved in it.
Yeah, the championship. I mean, it's a great experience, a great event to take part in. It's now gone, and we're wondering what's next. I mean, we still have the course. We've got the development that came around it, and I mean, it's a jewel in the area. But what when people ask that what's next question, what comes to your mind?
Well, I think you need some type of tournament just to get people here. Now, you're not going to have the Senior PGA, and again, I went through the area yesterday, and they're still taking down the stands.
Sure, it's going to take them a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, it won't take
Maybe a
that
month.
long.
Maybe a
yeah,
month.
it won't take that. But the holes, and again, I did the whole course yesterday for the first time. I knew some of the holes. I biked through there, and actually last night I heard the couple of coyotes.
Oh, did
out
you?
there. I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
You were playing a little
they're
late.
out- yeah, it was dark. We had a late tea time.
Oh boy.
They're out there. They're out there. It's warning signs. You know, it's
Yeah.
a natural habitat.
It sure is.
But this is something that I worked on as a member of Congress. I mean, I remember what it looked like before.
Mhm.
I worked with our governor, Jennifer Granholm. The two of us did the state and federal partnership. Obviously, we worked, I walked the course with Jack Nicklaus, telling us, I mean, it's incredible. Whirlpool's commitment, but you look at what it's done and where it came from. I mean, it was rubbish. It was, in essence, a Superfund site.
It was.
And now you've got those houses, the tax base.
Yeah.
You got the hotel that came there. Governor Snyder, we started that hotel. It's the building lots there. I mean, it is transformed the area like nothing else. And so it's been an incredible experience to watch it. Really, it really is a jewel. It really is. And it's enhanced. You look at Gene Clark Park and, you could go skinny dipping there before and no one would notice.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That place is full. That's why the lake temperature is important. But I mean, all of that has really helped the community, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. And it's been a real plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to read more about what others in the community who were part of bringing the golf course here and the championship here, what they think about what it did, what it was meant to do, what it did, and what might be next, take a look at it. That full article. We gathered all the information as a team, but Pat Moody was the one who stitched all this together. And so the article is there. It's about 3,900 words long. Pat likes the words.
I know. You can read that book, Nuclear War. You can put it together.
We'll be right back with the Moody on the Market update. You're listening to the WSJM Morning Show.
Hi, this is Congressman Bill Huizenga. Since January of 2021, inflation has gone up 19.4%, according to the Consumer Price Index. The Biden administration's policies are keeping the American dream out of reach for too many in Michigan. Inflation is a tax on all Americans, and I'm working to rein in the federal spending that is fueling these price hikes. Learn more about what I'm doing to balance Washington's checkbook and make life more affordable by visiting my website at huizenga.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Everyone has a favorite t-shirt, and you cherish the memories you have wearing that t-shirt. Wes, Debbie, and the team at Laser Graphics have made a lot of those.
That's always fun. I see somebody that they would come in and be like, look at my t-shirt from 25 years ago, and I still wear it, and it's still holding up.
I did that t-shirt.
It's actually really fun to walk around town and see the shirts that you made all over the community and different people wearing them. We made a lot of friends.
We have made a lot of great friends through the years.
Give them the stuff they want from Laser Graphics. Visit lasergraphics.com. That's laser with a Z.
You put in all the hours. You make the sacrifices. You're the jack of all trades who rolls up their sleeves, giving your heart and soul to best serve the customer. You're an independent local business owner. You drive our economy, which drives our country forward. And that is no small feat. It's the reason in 1958 we started our business here in Southwest Michigan. We believe our community will benefit from knowing your story, the difference you make, and why choosing you matters. We can relate because we too are an independent, locally owned business. For 7 decades, Midwest Family has been here working alongside local business owners and taking risks just like you. What matters is your success. Our team is ready to listen. Risk takers like you deserve this level of respect. Allow us to do the legwork to bring you fully vetted marketing blueprints focused on meeting your business goals. Then choose the direction you feel is best. Take the first step by requesting your free strategy analysis at risktakersunite.com. risktakersunite.com, powered by Midwest Family.
Midwest Family.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
So you've had to change all your promos.
I'm right. Yeah, I had to change the promos, had to change the music on it. We may have to have you record a new one for us. Would you?
Yeah. I heard it the other day. It was on.
We're talking with area Congressman Fred Upton, but right now it's time for the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by IMS Insurance Management Service, Auto Owners Insurance for life, home, car, and business. IMS Insurance, it means something. and their families can focus on what matters when you contact IMS Autos Owners Insurance. Now, one of the Southwest Michigan's favorite summer rituals is the car show. And there have been several over the years that have endured for decades, although the pandemic took its toll on a few. At the end of June, however, Maiden Lane Park in St. Joseph Township will play host to a car show that's growing by leaps and bounds only 3 years into its existence. Berrien County Firefighters Association and Sheriff's Department Benefit Car Show happens Saturday, June 29th. It's going to bring together the favorite features of many car shows, all wrapped up and targeted at families. Best of all, free to attend. Free to attend. Show hours are going to be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will, of course, be dozens of antique and restored cars, and an accent on those from the 60s and 70s, the muscle cars that seem to appeal across generations. There'll also be some older ones than that, as well as some newer specialty vehicles. You can enter you can display a vehicle. You can enter your own vehicle. It's only a $10 entry fee, and we have the email and the website address, all kinds of stuff on how to get involved with that, or just go see the show yourself as a spectator. It's right there at Moody on the Market. And again, your Moody on the Market update is brought to you by IMS Insurance Management Service. More from area Congressman Fred Upton coming up next. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
IMS understands that when you run a business, having someone you can lean on means something. It means you get a better night's sleep because you know you're well protected. It means you don't have to be an insurance expert. It means you can use your energy to do what you're good at.
All right. We're back on the live stream, video live stream. You like cars?
I do. I have a stick.
Do you really? You have a manual transmission?
I have 2 sticks. Yep. I love it. 6 speeds.
Oh.
Yeah, my Jeep. I love my Jeep. And they don't make them anymore. They don't make I have a 2018 Compass.
Okay.
But it's I love this stick.
Yeah, the manual transmission.
No one can steal it either. No one knows how to drive it.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate thing.
I went to a board meeting in Chicago. I'm on the Argonne National Lab Board, which is really terrific. And so it's overnight. It's always a 2-day event. It's over by the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, because it's the University of Chicago, which is where it is. And so they have a hotel where we always stay. And so you pull up, they have valet parking. So the guy couldn't drive it. I got a call up in my room. They said, "You better come down because your car is like," the guy's like, So I came down and I gave him a lesson, but I then drove it to where they park it. And then I picked it up myself so I wouldn't have an issue.
Fred, that sounds like a nightmare. If somebody is not versed on how to drive a manual transmission and they're a valet and they got to move your car, the pressure they're feeling is, okay, well, how do I get this thing? And they're probably not even using the clutch.
Yeah, they're probably not. I went to a dinner earlier this year and they had a valet parking. And so a young man comes up and I said, "No, it's a stick." He said, "Oh, my dad can drive those. You got to wait for him to come back. He's doing the other car." It was a father-son deal. So but I love my stick.
That's amazing. You going for the muscle cars at all? You like those?
I like my Jeep.
Yeah,
I gotta say,
you're
I
kind
like
of an
my
off-roader.
Jeep, yeah,
all right.
It's good. It's good in the snow.
Oh, I bet. You ever get it in low?
Yeah,
four-wheel drive low.
Well, we drove it. I'm a skier, so we went out skiing earlier this year, and we drove out west to go. They didn't have snow here in Michigan.
That's
really,
right.
Till the
That's
end.
right.
But it's you use that 4-wheel drive. It's effective.
That's good. We're just a couple minutes away from our news, so we'll go away for a commercial. We'll come right back, okay? It's the morning show, and you're watching the video live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Just have a few more minutes of it. I did want to ask you one more question. The Senate race in Michigan, what's your call? What do you think is going to happen?
It's going to be close. So I know, the likely winners of the primaries. They both have primaries. Alyssa Slotkin, current House member from Lansing.
Oh, hold that thought. Sorry. Got to time this right. Just a moment. It's about 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. We're here for the WSJM Morning Show talking with former Congressman Fred Upton. Fred, before we were so rudely interrupted by some of those commercials on the video live stream, we were asking you just to, in 2 minutes or less, summarize what we should be looking for in the U.S. Senate race. We can come back and talk more about it, but go ahead.
The two likely candidates, they both have primaries. Mike Rogers on the Republican side, Alyssa Slotkin on the Democratic side. Again, both have primaries. Those are the two likely winners, heavy favorites, I'd say. But it's going to be a heavy duty match. I mean, they're both very talented. Alyssa is a current member of Congress from Lansing. She represents Mike's old district.
Okay.
Mike served on my committee. He's a former FBI agent, former chair of the Intel Committee. Very respected, was bipartisan, almost everything that he did. Clearly, he did so on as a member of the Intel Committee, very important committee in the House. Slotkin, she's very active in the Problem Solvers Caucus. She's aggressive. She beat an incumbent member of Congress, Mike Bishop, to get into office, and she outraised him, and he was on Ways and Means Committee. So she's no slouch. She knows the issues. Michigan is going to be a key battleground state, certainly in the presidential race, but in the race as to who can control the Senate. I think the election were held today. Slotkin has a slight edge from the polls that I saw, but it's going to be. I was disappointed that they didn't have a debate up at the Detroit Chamber this last week, which is unusual because usually they have a premier debate, someone running for governor or Senate.
We're gonna have to hold that thought. I want to come back and revisit that question because again, the Mackinac Policy Conference, that's where you expect the ideas to be shared and people to make their own determination on what to support. We'll talk about that. All right, for those of you on the video live stream, thanks for suffering through the timing and the technical issues on this end. Fred, any parting words for our video folks?
No, thanks. I start my morning show. I start my morning with Ken. Now, it was Ken and Johnny, but Johnny's no longer here. He's doing it, I guess, from remote.
He's riding a horse. He's playing country
down the hallway. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Have a great week.
Yeah, and we're going to keep Fred for another hour here on the radio, so you can tune in 94.9. It's WSJM. But thanks, Fred. We appreciate you joining us on the video live stream today.
You bet.